But I think about the life of a pilot, right? Like a military going into combat, flying your hella jet. Like, this seems like a really hard ride to get off of. Why did you ever get off that ride?
Yeah. Well, first of all, congratulations to you and your family. That's going to be awesome. All parents welcome more parents to
I've noticed that every time I tell somebody, they get a big smile on their face and they're like, you don't know what you're in for, but you're in for a ride. Yeah,
part of the smile is a bit villainous, like just wait. But babies are awesome. You know, babies are undefeated. Everyone loves babies. In terms of getting off that wild ride, it actually does. It a lot has to do with family, and I kind of just felt a natural chapter, come to an end where I first fell in love with aviation when I was 9. I got out of the military, at 29. I got to do, what I wanted to do and live my dream for 9 years. And, I met my wife and, we together kind of shared a vision for what our family, life would be like. And my hat's off, and I've got a ton of respect for, my brothers and sisters in arms who are still in with families and making that work. Quite honestly, that's, I think, harder than going to combat or harder than, hopping in tanks or planes is, keeping that part of your life is balancing those two. So for me, it just felt like a natural close to that chapter. There's always kind of the tactical things like, in the military, your initial commitment as a pilot is about 9 or 10 years. And if you stay beyond that, you transition into a bit more of management, middle management on a road to executive management. And, so there's a little less flying there, and it's a commitment that the military asks you to make. And I actually think it's the way it should be, that, just right there around that 9 or 10 mark, if you're going to make a career of it, you kind of double down for another 9 or 10 years. And so, there's a lot of things where the military actually does give you space and say, hey, it's been a wild ride. You've served your time. I had my commanding general, I got to fly with him in the last few months that I was in, and I was nervous to tell him that I was applying to grad schools and getting out, because we call the Marine Corps the gun club. Like, it's, you're one of us or you're not. And, someone told him, and he said, hey man, I heard you're applying to grad schools. And I was like, yes, sir. Yep. That's what I hear. And he said, man, we need good Marines in the Marine Corps, and we need good Marines out of the Marine Corps. So anything I could do to help you, write you a letter of recommendation. And that kind of that put me at ease and was kind of the start of some good closure where I said, yeah, we do need good veterans out of the service as well.
So you're at this weird junction where you are pushing the edges of innovation. You've gone into banking and pushed the edges. You're going into education. But as you look back and you see the innovation going on in the military, you see like the rise of drones and the separation between the person pulling the trigger being hundreds, maybe thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
What do you think as a person that's been in combat? How should we as regular citizens think about drone combat?
Yeah. It's coming. I mean, it's already here, and the military is really leaning into it. It's almost futuristic and Star Wars like. Our fighting forces, our military, we've got some core values that extend all the way back to the ancient Romans and the warriors of history, and those values. Those will be the things that are consistent. So I think, for folks like me too, that aren't in the military anymore and are kind of watching and supporting our military forces, I think we should, make sure that the military sticks to those values that are kind of ubiquitous, that are timeless, even I would say. And the modality, the weapons, the way warfare looks has always been evolving. And so it's going to continue to do so. but our values to be the things that we cling to and will help us orient around this new world. And it'll present new challenges, new opportunities, but that's kind of how I look at it. Are we sticking to those core values?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a very weird thing because on the one hand, who would advocate like, hey, I want to put more people up in the air so that when they're shooting at somebody else, they can be shot at? Like, hey, if we've got an advantage, let's take it. But on the other hand, it's this very surreal, like almost like playing a video game, and the amount of force you can exert on somebody far, far away with virtually no consequences coming back at you, at least in the short term. It's a bizarre thing for regular civilians to take in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I kind of think of it like, the term moral hazard was thrown around, in 2008, 2009 with the financial crisis, right? It's that skin in the game conversation, right? If you can make loans or do financial products and have no repercussions, that'll tend to shape your behavior and you'll behave differently and sometimes in adverse ways. And so I think that's what you're hitting on, which is, if you have to be on the battlefield and be up close to an adversary, you're going to have, you have the elements of fear and courage, but you also have respect for that other human life as much as your own and, the people that you're fighting with, and that'll drive your behavior. So that's really what I was alluding to with the values. So because we have drones, and, maybe our citizens, our fighting force is still here in the U.S., how does that drive public policy and public sentiment? Does that mean that, the executive branch and the Congress are going to be more willing to go into and use force in times when they probably wouldn't, because those are their constituents that you have to physically ship to a battle space? Those are the kind of things that would worry me if they start to develop. And that's why I say we still have to cling to those, those core values of when to use force, how to use force, how to rebuild, how to really win the peace, those sorts of things. But we're going to have to answer all of those, right? New technology forces us to answer all of those moral questions.